What are your thoughts on dates as a staple in the diet? Can you make us, on 80-10-10,
Can dates be a staple
you recommend
in the diet?
dates as being a staple in the diet?
I know there's such a thing as fresh dates, but not really that many people have ever tried them. I've certainly had dates. I used to grow dates actually, so I'd eat some fresh dates. They're called wet dates when they're that fresh, and they are reasonably wet, but they are one very concentrated sweet food. And what happens really, it isn't that dates so much are a problem to eat, but there's such a concentration of sugar that very often, unless you have enough water with them, you're going to overload your sugar to water ratios. It'll make you dehydrated. It'll make you feel sleepy. I mean, it just tells you it's too much sugar at one time if you were going to make a meal of dates. Now, if you have a date or a few dates with your meal, that's an entirely different story, or even a date for every banana, perhaps, or blended dates with bananas, or blended dates with apples and celery, or blended dates, or dates and peaches, dates and other fruit. I wouldn't recommend a steady state meal of, as a staple food. This is my day in, day out. My calorie source is dates. A lot of people have digestive issues with dates, so they find that they get a lot of wind when they're trying to eat dates, and it's not as convenient as it would be to eat other fruits. But dates also typically are dry enough so that they're going to stick to our teeth. And anytime you have food sticking to your teeth, unless you're really meticulous with your teeth care, you're probably setting yourself up for some problems. So personally, I wouldn't think dates would be my first choice as a go-to all the time. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, this is my fruit. We have to be aware of food combining issues when we go to dates. I'd rather see people making mangoes their steady fruit, or some kind of a stone fruit being their steady go-to food. Even if they're going to go to bananas as their go-to guy because they're always available, they're reasonably priced, there's a reliable carbohydrate hit in each bite. Even then, we have to, of course, pay attention to food combining, but dates by themselves, I think they tend to, I'm not going to say they're too sweet. That's not the issue, because I love sweets, and sweeter is better as far as I'm concerned. There has to be, you have to consider sugar to water content, and dates very often, especially if they're dry dates. You're basically just eating dry food, and fresh is always best. Yes, we can supplement our calorie intake with some dried fruit, whether it's dried pineapple, dried mango, dried figs, dried dates, but you have to be careful when you start making compromises, that compromises don't become the rule, or compromises don't become the all-the-time thing. If you're doing something once in a while, you find you can eat a meal of dates and it didn't mess you up, well, you might want to eat a few more dates. But usually day in, day out, a lot of people write to me day in, day out, eating dates as their staple food. And they're having problems of this kind, that kind, or the next. And I say, you know what, go to bananas, try that instead, or let's try some fresh fruit. Let's try grapes as a staple food, and they do much, much better with fresh food than they do with dried.
Thank you. Does that apply if, I know on 30 Bananas a Day, a famous recipe is Datorade.
Well, like I said, if you're gonna blend your dates,
do you have a lot of water with it?
If you're gonna blend your dates, A, you're making them more digestible by adding water, and B, you're changing the sugar to water ratio dramatically when you blend dates. So Datorade, it's something I've been doing since the 70s, eating Datorade. Bananas and dates, good old bananas and dates. It's a simple, sweet lunch that makes you happy, but there has to be enough water to meet your water needs. If you're thirsty after a meal of fruit, you miss the mark dramatically. If I was going to eat a meal of dates, I would want to set it up by drinking several, 3, 4 glasses of water probably before it, waiting a sufficient amount of time, and then eating dates. But I would rather either blend the water into the dates or just eat a juicier food. I'm not looking for refined sugar as my source of sugar. So I know it's one of the sweetest ways to get your calories, and I'll eat a date or two now and then. I don't shun dates by any stretch, but I wouldn't want that to be my staple food. There's too many other textures and colors and flavors to just keep on having brown all the time.